All right, it looks like we're live, Kelind. So
Woohoo!
exciting. So I'm going to go ahead and get us kicked off. Thank you so much for tuning into our next online series related to COVID-19. I'm Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber. If this is your first time on our page, be sure that you're following us, that you like it, and that you share content actively so people are aware of what's available and out there if it is relevant to them. So I want to get started by recommending you go to westminsterchamber.biz/COVID-19-updates. On this page, we have all sorts of resources, information about funding, information from public health orders that have been released, to other resources like education that we've done, and other programs or events that we're creating in response to some of the issues our businesses have. In addition, on that page is also our survey that we're encouraging our business community to actively fill out and let us know who's open, regardless of what industry you are in. So I just wanted to let you all know that if you haven't gone to that page, please do so. A lot of times we always say as a chamber, we do a whole lot of things. Not every single thing touches everyone, but there's something for everyone. So outside of these video series, know that we're proactive on a lot of different fronts. So I wanted to go ahead and introduce our speaker today. I have Kelind Thomas with me. Kelind is the owner of Garbed in Glitter and Grace. It's an online boutique that's has been around for a little over a year now. Kelind has been an active member of our chamber for well over 2 years now. She's helped facilitate a lot of our annual events and programs, and has now been appointed to our board within the last year. So she is an active board member. And today's topic is focused on online sales, specifically e-commerce, since that is her world and her line of work. So excited to have you with us, Kelind.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm happy to spend my, 11 a.m. hour with you all.
Terrific. Well, can you, is there anything else you wanted to add on your bio? I know you have a really robust story about how long you were involved in the business before you actually turned it into a full time. And I hope you can touch a little bit on that, but also segue into some key things we should know as businesses transitioning to e-commerce, or ones that are even thinking about it. Like, should I even do it?
Right, definitely. So like Juliette said, I am the owner of Garbed in Glitter and Grace, and it is a women's fashion boutique. And I always like to say, forever 21, we're not forever 21 anymore. So I like to find different kinds of clothes and different types of styles that don't break your budget. And so when Juliette approached me to talk about this, I was like, wow, like adopting an e-commerce mindset, it's harder than you think, but it's also a lot more fun than you think. So when I was about a year and a half ago, when I decided I wanted to do this, e-commerce was my route because it allowed me to dive into this business without a lot of overhead. And then it allowed me to kind of create a side hustle, if you will. And then now, a year and a half later, I've been able to do my side hustle into a full-time job. So I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about e-commerce isn't for everybody, but it definitely is for anyone who is looking to sell any kind of product online, and that includes your digital products. So right now, if you are experiencing all this craziness, maybe you're deciding, you know what, like I can't be in my brick and mortar. So do I want to sell something online? And is it worth it if it's a 14-day quarantine or a 30-day quarantine? And I recommend if you have something to sell, it's definitely worth it. You can make it a side hustle, or you can make it a full-time job. And your biggest first step is saying, okay, what platform am I going to use? Do I want to design my own website? Do I want to find someone to do it for me? Do I want to pay someone to do it for me? So it kind of depends on what kind of budget you're looking at, but I encourage you guys to do some online shopping with your e-commerce platforms. There are an overwhelmingly amount of e-commerce platforms out there. So I've kind of like whittled down to the ones that I highly recommend, also to ones that you would be able to go on today and get a free trial and say, oh, I'm doing this today. My website's going to be live, at midnight tonight or whatnot. So I'm going to hone in on what I use, which is Shopify. but I did want to recommend a couple other ones to you. And Julia and I will also link these in the comments. So that way, if you don't have your pen handy, you don't have to voraciously take notes. So here are a couple ones that I recommend. There's BigCommerce, 3D Cart, WooCommerce, Weebly, Squarespace, which a lot of you probably heard of Squarespace, and then Wix. Now, all of these have free trials. So like I said, not every e-commerce platform is for everyone. Really figure out what one you like and really use those free trials, because essentially this is going to be your home office, right? You're going to be spending all of your time in this platform. So it's kind of like you're choosing like your mate for life. So it's okay to be picky. So like I said, the great thing is there's so many options, and most of them allow 14-day free trials. So do the shopping, take a day and say, I'm going to narrow down to a couple different platforms and I'm going to get in there and figure it out. And if you find one that you're like, this is easy, this is so nice, go for it. Because really, like I said, you want it to work for you, don't work for it. Okay.
So you mentioned, and that was a really good point. So you shared that a lot of these platforms are offering free trials. So did you do that? Did you add some of these checkout methods to your online boutique and see the response from people and or how did you figure out what was better features that one had as opposed to another?
So I did a lot of Pinteresting, if you will. I did a lot of podcast listening. I did a lot of different research with different people who were online boutique owners. So I think it's also really important, use your Google to its advantage and say, whatever your industry is, really kind of hone in on what they're using and why it works for them. I tried BigCommerce and I tried Wix, and I created profiles with them. I even went as far as to create websites in each of them to see, the website is really important to me. Obviously, like I'm a clothing curator, so I want everything to look pretty and happy and shiny. So it was important for me to have a hands-on in my website. And what I loved about Shopify is literally you create your entire website. And that sounds really ominous because I'm not a techie guru by any means, but they made it so easy for me. And I could literally go down to the font that I wanted, the way my description showed up, the way my shipping notifications were sent to my customers. So that's really, as I started to hone in on the different platforms, I was like, I really like that I can tailor pretty much everything to my personality and my brand with Shopify. And that just kind of put Shopify above the other platforms, if you will.
Right. Yeah, I think that's very important to have it match up with your personal style, especially as a business if you have an existing brand. And then I like what you shared, how it lets you create kind of your own website for it. So if you already have an existing website, you can probably add that component to it as well, a lot easier.
Right, which is really great. And they even in Shopify and also BigCommerce, they will say, do you already have an existing domain? Do you already have an existing website? And you can work with them in integrating your websites. That scared me a little bit, but you can definitely do that. So if you're like, I already have a website, this isn't important to me. It is a way that you can say, you know what, I want my platform to be through Shopify. You can make that happen if you're interested in that. I was just actually, what is crazy is last night, one of my really good friends, she owns a hair salon. And now hair salons are non-essential, as girls, we might say differently.
I know.
Yeah. But so now she's kind of having to adapt, and she's like, I want to sell my hair products online. And so she was like, could I use Shopify for that? And she was like, I only want to do a Facebook shop. And so that's the other reason why I really like Shopify, is they allow you to have different sales channels for your platform. So like if I were to log in and show you guys my my Shopify platform, it would show sales channels, and it would say Facebook shop, Instagram, website, Google ads. It would show I have all of those as my sales channels. So that was really nice too, because you could integrate that really easily and do it all from your homepage of Shopify. So definitely when you're doing your shopping for these platforms, make sure that that's something that you can do, because I think as e-commerce people, we want to be able to communicate with our customer in every single format possible. And whatever platform is going to help us do that is golden. That's what you want, you know? So like I said, Shopify is the best. I could talk about Shopify all day. So if you guys have questions, they should really hire me. I mean, seriously. So the other thing that I loved about Shopify is, say you are not fully a e-commerce, say you want to do pop-up shops like I like to do, or say you want to go to fairs or just different things like that. Shopify will send you your own card swiper. Okay. And so you don't have to pay any, like, you know, with Square, you have to pay a certain fee. With Shopify, you don't. So you'll have your Shopify account, and then you'll also have a Shopify point of sale account, and you use it all through that swiper. And I cannot tell you how easy, how nice it is to have. And you don't have to worry about, oh, I can only take cash, or only can, you know, I can only do those kind of things. Right. And then you don't have to worry about getting a Square if that's not something that you're interested in.
Yeah.
So definitely, yeah, keep that in mind too. It wasn't necessarily something that was like top of mind for me when I started this, but I was like, oh, I get a free thing in the mail. That's cool. Yeah. So definitely think about that. And then the other huge thing that is so important is Shopify allows you to track your analytics. So what that basically means is you have full control to track your visitors and your referrals, your clicks. How are people connecting to you? You get to see that, right? Because you're kind of entering this realm, like, is anyone gonna know me? Like, is anyone gonna like my stuff? Like, you know, it's scary. So what I loved about Shopify is, like, right now on my phone, if I wanted to, I can get on and there is a live dashboard, and it'll say, oh, you have 31 visitors on your store right now. And then the crazy thing, a little creepy, but it's kind of cool. It'll show a map of the United States, and it'll literally show dots of where these people live and where they're coming from. So like right now I have someone from Wichita, Kansas, and I'm like, I didn't know like I was popular in Kansas. But then it just kind of allows you to hone in on who is your audience and where are these people coming from. And then you can kind of say, like maybe I need to spend more time advertising to people in Kansas, or you're like, wow, I have a lot more customers coming from the southern region. Maybe I need to focus on that a little bit more. So it really allows you to start to strategize with who are your customers, how can you maintain them, and how can you connect with them. And I mean, I think that's probably the biggest thing is, and the biggest worry of having an e-commerce platform is you don't have that face-to-face interaction.
Right.
So it feels a little scary. And Shopify really helps you kind of hone in on that. So analytics are huge. So definitely make sure whatever e-commerce platform you're using, you're able to be in control of that. It just helps you in every aspect of your business and in your marketing especially. The other thing that I really like is with those analytics, it'll also tell you, hey, you're getting 60% of your traffic from your Facebook, or you're getting so much traffic from your Instagram. So then it kind of helps you also say, hey, like I'm spending a lot of time on my Instagram, but that's really not where I'm getting my customers. I'm getting my customers from this place. So that's really nice too, because then you can kind of create your own game plan and you're not wasting your time, if that makes sense. You can really prioritize and strategize to the best outlet that's working for you.
Yeah. So that totally makes sense. And like, I'm getting excited because you're talking about Shopify, but you literally have just shared like 4 awesome tips with it. And I want to recap them. But before we get too far behind, we've gotten a couple of comments. Thank you so much for those of you that are sharing. Hi, Brian. Hi, Dave. Thanks for posting these and sharing the message. And we also have Vanessa saying that you're a fabulous independent woman.
Oh,
so Vanessa also has a question for you. And this is a really good one. She says, you know, how does city and state tax work with online shopping?
So when you get to the point of like filing your domain and officially becoming a business with the Secretary of State, it will ask you if you want to ship within state and then outside of state. And the crazy thing is, people, is you're taxed on everything. So you will have a sales tax for Colorado, and then you'll have a sales tax for pretty much every other state that you are working with. So when it comes to overhead, those are definitely things that you need to plan for and think about, and just kind of realize when you're setting your price points that you're going to need to be prepared for those kind of taxing, right? So, and it also kind of depends on if you're an LLC, or just, it depends on that kind of, and I don't want to get too far in the weeds because I'm not an accountant by any means and don't want to misspeak. But that's definitely how you're taxed differently. So definitely keep that in mind. And the other great thing about Shopify, so many great things, but it also helps you figure out your shipping rates. And then it also helps you figure out if you would like to apply the sales tax, and then it'll say, okay, like with what you're spending in your sales tax, here's what your shipping rates should be. And you don't have to agree with that, but it kind of helps you overcompensate for those different costs.
Yeah, I like that built-in tool. It kind of helps you with your price point, especially if you're first time selling, because we never want to price our products or our services too far out of the market. But this is more of the realist. So, you know, you shared there are different platforms for e-commerce, and we'll include those in the comments below on which ones are available and your preferred, you know, Shopify, but you're encouraging everyone, kind of like what you did, trial and error, try it for that 14-day period, or, you know, 10 days or whatever options that they have, and see what works on your site. You also touched a little bit that it's not industry specific. So it's not just for online shopping, you know, of clothes and apparel. You have friends that are doing this for services like hair care, you know, others that are solopreneurs or entrepreneurs, or even regular businesses that are now having to transition. So this is if you have a product, if you have a good, or if you have a service, right? This is more of something for it. Some other benefits that you shared were the point of sale, and the ability to have that pop-up experience and have that peace of mind with it. And we also have, you know, numerous other partners within the chamber that offer point of sale systems and things that I'm sure would be willing to try and have those types of devices or services available on an as needed basis, especially with everything going on. So that would be kind of a unique partnership that we can look at. What other things? So the neat thing that I liked, it was super creepy. So now that you shared it, yes, now that you shared it, it's creepy, but it's great for our data, right? Like this is definitely to know. So knowing that there's, you know, XYZ number of people that are on your website, and here are where they're coming from, you're able to target your messaging to that state. Do you also do anything in terms of your product and your branding as well? Like how are you trying to share the message with those different audiences?
Yeah, definitely. So that's like a perfect segue into talking about how do you get customers, how do you connect with them, and then how do you keep them? So the biggest help that I have seen, so I kind of narrowed down to like a few of my favorite things to sound like Julie Andrews, but I won't sing for you. But I kind of narrowed it down to the things that have really helped me create a great customer base. And what Shopify has really helped with when it hones in on where those people are coming from and who your online visitors are, is you can then use that with Facebook ads. Facebook ads are so important because it allows you to target a specific desired customer. So for instance, I have this really cute, you know, shameless plug, I have this really cute graphic tee that has like First Coffee, and it has like a Friends Central Perk mug and Luke's Diner Gilmore Girls mug. So this was kind of like the perfect opportunity for me to say, okay, I'm going to go in and I'm going to create an ad specifically for this graphic tee. And I'm going to target the people who are interested in coffee, naturally, Friends, Gilmore Girls. You could go as far in, if you're like a real Gilmore Girl person, you could go into like Stars Hollow and different things like that. And then that's your own audience. So then I can say, run that ad, create that ad. And then what I can do is, hey, if I get another coffee graphic tee in or something like that, I can go to that audience and, you come up with your own funny, unique audience name. So I'm like, oh, I want this ad to go to my coffee audience. Done. So like right now, you'll go on to my Facebook and I have over 30 different types of very targeted, specific audiences on my Facebook.
Mhm.
So that really helps you. The analytics help you kind of hone in on where, and, I'll say maybe like everybody in Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, or you can go as far as saying Peyton, Colorado. You can do very specifics too. Now here's like I have a tip for you. And I learned this the hard way. My first year, I spent so much money on Facebook, and you don't even realize it. So Facebook will recommend that you boost your posts. They'll say, you'll get a notification and they'll say, hey, like your post about so-and-so is doing 90% better than normally. Boost it for this much money. I recommend really sitting down and creating a budget and then using that budget mostly for ads, because your ads are where you can target the kind of customer that you want. You can be really specific or you can be really broad with it. I have not had any lucrative sales come from a boosted post, but I have had from targeted ads, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So just kind of be careful with where you're spending your money on Facebook. And that's with everything, obviously. But your targeted ads are really important because it allows you to connect one-on-one with the kind of audience that you're looking for. Whereas like a boosted post is great, like you put some money in it, but Facebook still has the power and the algorithm to say, oh, this post isn't as important.
Okay.
So kind of keep that in mind.
Yeah, I love that. And I think we can definitely expound on it a little bit more in our social media strategy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think this is really beneficial for, understanding that even setting up an e-commerce business, you still need to market and advertise to push it through.
Definitely.
We've got a few other comments. This was a hilarious one.
Oh,
so it's a question on, it looks like you have a helper at home. And it's a supportive husband, if I'm not mistaken. His name's Alan Thomas.
Yes.
The question is if he was available to take photos of products and goods for people that decide to do e-commerce. He did say he'll charge. So if you're willing to override that, please let us know. We also have Counselor Seymour who's tuning in and sharing that this is really relevant information and great. So thank you, Counselor, for paying attention to our videos and sharing the message that we have going on. So what else can we touch on? We've got a couple minutes left.
Yeah,
so a few more things that you wanted to throw out there before we wrap it up.
Yeah, of course. So the next thing is, and I'm sure if you are, listening to podcasts and you're kind of like a seeker of knowledge, I'm sure you've heard this, but I'm going to tell you again. Once again, with connecting and building an audience, your email lists are so important. And honestly, this wasn't something that I initially thought of. I was like, oh, like Instagram and Facebook are going to be my jam. Like that's where, I'm going to get so many likes and that's what's important. And likes feel good and they're nice. And obviously they do create a buzz, but you don't own those likes. Those, God forbid, Instagram or Facebook could shut down and you wouldn't have access to those people anymore. But if you have your email list, that's yours. You've cultivated that. That's your one-on-one connection. So if you don't have a brick and mortar, you don't have that benefit of someone walking in and you getting to meet that person and kind of creating a connection with them. Your email list is where you do that. So once you set up your platform for your e-commerce, then I definitely recommend making sure that you find an email platform that you feel really comfortable with, that you feel like it's easy to use, that you feel like you can kind of curate your emails, your newsletters the way that you want, and then go from there. Just because we don't have a whole lot of time, I won't go too deep into it, but we will in the comments. I'll recommend a couple of the different email platforms that I recommend. And you can kind of, once again, they offer free trials. So there's nothing wrong with shopping around and doing a little speed dating with that situation. So that, just think about that. Think about the fact that like social media is essentially borrowed land. It's not really yours. You can use it and you can play on it, but you don't get to take that home. You can with your email list. So really focus on cultivating a great subscriber list. And one of the like great podcasts, her name is Jenna Kutcher, and she's a self-made millionaire. Definitely recommend it for anybody, but especially like young entrepreneurial women. She talks about how she has seen that one subscriber can equal $1. So do the math, people. Like it can make you a lot of money. And it also can create a sense of community with your customers. And I think that's really important because we do lack that face-to-face time with them. Let's see. Another really cool tool that I highly recommend as an e-commerce person, it's called Privy. It's Privy, and it's also a free trial. Man, I feel like Bernie Sanders saying free so much. I don't know how I feel about that. But basically, Privy allows you to create really unique and interactive campaigns on your website. Doesn't matter what platform you're using, you can add Privy to it. And so you could create like a Wheel of Fortune type of discount, and people would go on your website and it'll pop up and they can spin the wheel. 39% of your users will interact with something if they get a discount in return. So definitely think about that. And I like Privy because it's unique and it's interactive. But then what I also like about it is, Juliet, you and I kind of talked about how the checkout process is really important and is kind of ominous to people. And a lot of people don't like a long checkout process. You know, when you're shopping around and it's the first time that you're on a site, you don't want to fill out so much information, including what you had for breakfast that morning. You're like, nope, I'm out, I don't have time. And you close that app on your phone. So Privy will allow you to capture that information from your audience in a different way that you don't have to do that in your checkout. So definitely recommend Privy, and it's fun. So just go on there and play around with it. Let's see. So I think the other thing is just your checkout process. And the biggest thing I would recommend with that is just make it simple. Make it really easy for your customer to say, add to cart and buy. You know, we all love on Amazon that, click now. We've all experienced that, throw the Kit Kat into our cart and, the last minute items. So that's when you're creating your checkout process, think about those kind of things. And that really plays hand in hand with whatever e-commerce platform that you choose. So they'll kind of go into what their checkout process looks like. And if it's customizable, the better it is that you can customize it to what you want. So that's kind of really the biggest tip with checkout, I would say. A lot of your e-commerce platforms will kind of help you with that. But I just recommend, don't make everybody fill out like their entire personal history to get that sweater or to get that bottle of whatever,
Touche. Our application is rather expensive. Yes, I totally agree. Hi, Peter. I know he said hello to us. He was tuning in. We're out of time, Kelind.
Sorry.
So sad because I feel like you have so much tips and takeaways that you can give us outside of the clothing that I've been eyeing this whole time as I'm sitting here.
I know, it's cute.
You've also been able to share a resource, not just for a retail online, selling of products and clothing, but also a resource for different industry that's moving into online sales that are more service-based for, the non-walkthroughs. And
Definitely.
I think it's relevant and it's timely. It's stuff that we can be doing even outside of what's going on around us. And if nothing else, what I've been sharing is that the positive out of all of this is that it's getting us to think about business in a different way. And e-commerce has been around for a while, but not as many people as are engaged in it as you are, right? This is your everyday bread and butter. So thank you for spending today with us. And if you guys are interested in her amazing apparel, we have her website linked to our website, and that's at Garbed in Glittering Grace. And for any questions, be sure that you comment below, and either myself or Kelind will answer. Thank you.
Yeah, have a great day.
You too.